Alex Ryvchin is the co-CEO of the Executive Council of Australian Jewry and joins us. Thanks for your time, Alex.
Thank you.
Tell me, is the relationship between the Australian government and the Israeli government broken?
I don't think it's broken, but I think it's teetering. And, I think it's really to the detriment of both nations and the peoples of both nations. We have relations between the countries that extend into every sphere of life, whether it be our security and intelligence arrangements which protect Australian life, the biomed and the medicines and the technology which Israel invents and gives to the world. We have hundreds of thousands of people that travel from Australia to Israel as pilgrims, as Jewish Australians, as general tourists and people to do business. And we can't have a situation where leaders are firing these salvos at each other, insulting each other, and it risks fracturing a really profound relationship which benefits all Australians. So we want to see calm restored. We want to see an end to these, tit-for-tat diplomatic blows that are being struck. And we want to see the interests of the people put ahead of the egos of the prime ministers on both sides.
I'm pleased you say you want to see calm restored here, because that's now essential. Given that Anthony Albanese did make contact with his counterpart before he made his decision on recognition for a Palestinian state, do you think, given that, did Benjamin Netanyahu go too far with the social media post?
I think that the Israeli Prime Minister has very valid concerns when he looks at things like Australia recognising a Palestinian state while Israel is still in the throes of a bloody war in which its soldiers are fighting and dying every single day. They faced enormous threats from Iran, from Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis. I mean, the security situation in Israel, the people are going through something which I think few Australians can truly comprehend. So for the Australian government to be undertaking these political manoeuvres against Israel at this time, I can understand why the Israeli Prime Minister would have these strong feelings. And I think he would also look at the anti-Semitism crisis that has been engulfing us for 2 years now and would feel like not enough is being done to protect the Jewish community and societal harmony. These are valid concerns, but the manner in which they're raised, I think, is critical. And firing off tweets, I don't think that's the way to do business. I think this should have been conducted in private, in a dignified manner, to actually resolve the issues that stand between the countries.
And there has been correspondence, but do you think the time's now come after this tweet? Do you think Mr Albanese should actually reach out to his counterpart, have a conversation over the phone, maybe even visit Israel at some point?
Look, I absolutely think that. And, I think after October 7, it would have been a good thing for the Prime Minister to visit Israel and show solidarity with the people and actually tour the South, the ravaged South, to understand what Israel is fighting, to speak to soldiers and ask them what they're encountering before making condemnations and look at the way that aid's being delivered and the obstacles to it. I think there would be immense benefit in that happening. And, on a diplomatic level, I think the foreign minister should be speaking. I think that there just needs to be a kind of reset of the relationship where everyone takes a breath and we think about what's at stake here and we fight to preserve this relationship, because no one wants to see allies feuding in this way, in a way that's really undignified in many ways. And I saw some remarks made by Tony Burke in response to the Israeli Prime Minister, which were totally out of line and totally irresponsible as well. So I think everyone's responsible here and needs to chart a new course.
I certainly don't want to inflame things, Alex, and I appreciate your measured approach here. Now, given what you just said about Tony Burke, but also that the tweet that the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu made said that he felt that Mr Albanese had abandoned Australian Jews. Do you feel that? Do you feel you've been abandoned?
No, I don't. And look, I've been critical, and my organisation has been critical for nearly 2 years now about certain policies of the government and certain action and inaction, which I think has precipitated this crisis. I think it's aggravated. I think that equivocation early on, when you have things like the Opera House steps, has emboldened extremists and has made our society more dangerous and less tolerant. So we've been very comfortable in expressing those views both publicly and privately to the government, but at no point have we felt abandoned. I think there's going to be points of difference. The government's going to go in a certain direction that's contrary to the views presented by the Australian Jewish community. But to say abandoned means that we have no access to government, we have no means of communicating our ideas, and that's simply not true. There's just points of respectful disagreement, and we're going to keep forcefully putting our case for the good of all Australians.
Certainly everyday Australians are not abandoning you. Thank you for your time, Alex.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.